the lie we live. What do you think? What lie do you think we're living?
We're separate.
We're separate, yep. The lie is that we think that we are not God. That's the lie. That's what created all of the chaos, all of the conflict, thinking that we are anything less than God. If we are one with all that is, one with God, source, creator, does it make sense that we are not that? It makes no sense. It's a complete duality of separation for us to say that we are not that, right? And here we know of our oneness, right? We know that we're one with that energy. But we, the collective, have created a matrix of separateness, of conflict, of confusion. And that's how the ego was created, because we forgot who we are, right? That's the lie. So I just want to go through a couple concepts first before I take you into what we can do about it. So love and guilt cannot coexist, and to accept one is to deny the other. So if we are love, and that's all we are, and that is all we are, period, exclamation mark. We are nothing other than just love. So why, when we come in here, do we experience the feelings of guilt? Anybody know?
They're taught to us.
Hmm?
They're taught to us. No, teaching to us.
But there's one core source of that guilt. Huh?
Ego.
Ego. Ego. But the ego was created. What's the main source of it? It's fear, but the main source of it is that we are living the lie. Okay? That's the source. That's what started it. Okay? Then it radiates out from that and created the fear, because we came into fear only because we forgot that we were loved. And we can't hold two of those together, right? We can't have love and guilt. And guilt comes from us forgetting that. We actually have to come to a place where we actually forgive ourselves for ever thinking anything, that we were anything less than that. We're guilty because we ever thought it to begin with. So that's why, we go through these processes of forgiveness when we start having all of this brokenness in us, these patterns that begin to create, the conditioning. But it's all from the core issue of the lie. Okay? So let's try to remember that part of that, because that's the very important part. You can talk about all the other things, you can talk about the fear and all that, but you need to understand where it came from, why the matrix was created in the first place, because of that one idea that we forgot that we were that. Okay?
Isn't it like a program, basically? You've been programmed since like day one, and that's what helped form like the matrix?
Yes, yeah, just
program.
Yes. Awesome. I love when you guys interact. Yes. Because you teach me. Yes, exactly. You got it. You got it, girl. Okay. So what do we do in life? We come in life and we start trying to cope with everything, right? Okay? Coping is not evolution. No, you're not. You didn't come here to cope with it. Because what you do when you cope, what do you do when you cope with something?
You just bear
Yeah. Yeah. You're not rising above it.
accepting, suffering.
What?
Accommodating.
Yes.
You're actually accommodating whatever you're coping with, right? Yeah. So what do we do instead of coping with something?
Change it. You resolve it.
Exactly. Yeah, Christine back here in her little cave. Behind the curtain. The Great Oz, yes, yes. So what'd you say?
Just release it.
Yeah. Well, you release it, yes. You want to transmute it. We want to change it. We want to take it back to its natural state. It never was that to begin with, okay? We have to get to a state of consciousness where we understand that. that it does not exist. It is not the real world, capital R, your home. It's none of that. Right. So if you're coping with something, if you're tolerating something or somebody or some experiences, you're not going to heal, you're not going to evolve, you're going to be stuck in putting so much energy into coping with it. Because remember, where does energy go? Where does energy go?
Where you put it, where your thoughts, energy flows.
Where your attention goes.
Yes.
Right. Come on in, Pammy. You didn't think you were going to hide away, did you? Get in here. Yeah, right. Glad you're here. So we want to understand, we want to be, you're the observer, remember, you're inside here and you're looking out here, all right? Okay? So you're going to have to start observing what you're thinking, what you're doing, how you're being. And if you feel, oh, well, I'll deal with this, I'll cope with this, I'll tolerate this, then you're stuck, okay? So then that's when you want to take the process of releasing whatever it is, and you're light. All you got to do is transmute it. You're light. And that, you have that ability. Because you are that God. You are that creator. You're one with that. Okay? So, we're going to go into this book, and we're going to start diving in. You guys are going to start being who you are. You've already done so much work. You don't have to keep doing all this work. Because every so often something will come up and you'll know what to do with it, right?
Yes.
But now, we're here to light up the world. So my talks are going to be more about how do we do that? How do we come in to being the light workers? So this is a guide for light workers. The first part that I'm going to do today is from the author, who is Saratoga Ocean. I usually call it Sarasota. I lived there for a little while. So I'm going to dive into the first part of the book. So what is a light worker? Me?
Exactly.
Not everybody agrees with you on Facebook, do they?
No, because when you stand in your position and you're a light warrior like I am, you're going to have other outside sources that are going to try to bring you down. But regardless of any obstacles, I'm still standing here and ain't going to alter me. So.
And how do you react to them?
I give them love. I transmute it. I don't feed into low vibrations. I don't feed into fear. I just steadily let them know that I stand beside them, and regardless of what they say, think, or feel, I'm going to give them love.
Right. You honor them exactly where they are, and you just anchor their life.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, we got the right book. So, let's look at our little revealing word on what it says about light. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder. Light. The understanding principle in mind. In divine order, it always comes first into the consciousness. Light is a symbol of wisdom. When Jesus said, I am the light of the world, he meant that he was the expresser of truth in all its aspects. All its aspects. See, that's what's going on in the world. We think there's another aspect out there, right? We think there's something else, right? That's what creates the duality. Because there is nothing else. There's one presence, one power, that's all there is. So there cannot be any other aspects of it. And this is the realization that we've come here to reestablish in us. Inner light. What's inner light? The illumination of spirit resident in the center of every man's being. Every man's being. No one's left out. If one person was left out and we're all one, then we wouldn't be that light, right? Exactly. Does it make sense? It's so simple that it's almost hard for the consciousness to grab a hold of it because it's so simple. We're the ones that make it hard. Okay, so I'm going to just share what she says about this. A light worker refers to anyone who reaches for the light and reaches for the truth, which can only exist has a manifestation of love. That's what the light is. It's just love. Anyone can be a light worker. And so be careful. Because when we stand up and say, I'm a light worker, be careful. You don't need people to know who we are. We just go out and be it. Because then you become, they feel a feeling of shame. Like, well, I'm less than them. I don't feel that I'm a light worker, so I must be less than them.
You see, I didn't look at it that way, per se, because I
You
thought-
didn't, they do.
Right, well, I hit it from a different perspective. I don't do it like as insane boasting, per se. I try to help other people stand in their power. Not to boast or brag, but just a different perspective to let them know you too can step in your power.
Yes.
And be a light worker as well.
But just be careful, because when someone's not there,
Right, yeah.
they will think less of themselves.
Right, right. I get it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, you know what to do. Anyone can be a light worker, whether or not they subscribe to such a terminology. The word is not important. What matters is the spirit of the heart. The spirit of love. Okay? Simply being a heart-centered person is the same as being a light worker. Just wanting to be that is also the same thing. The desire is what fuels the energy, right? Okay? Intention is really the key definition. If you intend good for yourself, for this beautiful planet Earth, and for all life forms who live upon it, then you are indeed a light worker. And we all know here that that's what we do, right? So no question here. And your presence is exceedingly important to the welfare and evolution of everyone and everything on Earth. So does anybody have any questions about being a light worker? Okay. So, let's take a look at this pretty little thing. We got the ego, and this is a representation of your brain, your mind, whatever you want to call it. And this is where everything's, these voices in your head, okay? And we have a hard time making decisions when we're coming from the mind, right? Because there's duality there. The ego was created from it. Stuff, anger, blame, coldness, all this stuff that our ego tells us that we are. Separation, war, intolerance, self-importance, where you think, you're better than other people. The soul, we, no longer me, it's we. You care about not only you, but everybody, because you're one with them, because we're all one. So it becomes we. You no longer think in just the single, separated state of mind that you used to. Humble, spiritual, friendliness. So you just see, we are here to move from our head to our heart. Your heart is intelligent. Your heart is love. Your heart will guide you to only the truth. There will be no indecisiveness. You won't need how to wonder about who I am, what I'm to do. Think of it like Virgie, like if you get a writer's block, okay, which you get a lot, you shared that with me. So she's got this writer's block. So she's going to go to her mind, she's going to say, well, hey, look, I need to think of something. I need to write something. What's going on? What's going on? And nothing's coming. That's the indecisiveness of the ego. The only way the ego knows anything is by what has already happened. It doesn't have any reference. All it has is what you have experienced or what someone else has experienced that came into your field. The ego doesn't have any new information to give you because that's all it knows. Now what happens if you go to the heart when you're writer's block? What happens then? You expand. You come into an infinite state of unlimited possibilities by just going into the heart. Your center, your being, your God self, your creator. That's where you create. So when you're having issues in life, you want to go here. You want to go to your truth. Out here will tell you nothing but conflict, separation. And I guarantee you it will flow, it will come to you. If it doesn't come to you, then what's blocking it? Start asking those questions. What's blocking it? The ego won't tell you an answer. The ego has no answers that you want to hear. It is just here to guide you through this life on earth, just to help navigate you. But who's going to control the steering wheel? You going to allow the ego to, or are you going to allow your heart to, the love that you are? It's your choice. It's your decision. Make sense? So, how do we change? How do we come from our mind to our heart? What can we do?
Just come from a compassionate place
Mm-hmm.
on everything, regardless of what that other person is doing. This is a major task I'm going through right now, actually, with forgiveness, which is probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. When you think that you're getting somewhere, you gotta remember not to speak from here, but to speak from your heart.
Yes.
As much as you want to be like, you know what, why I oughta, you don't do that.
And what helps you to stay there?
Just being compassionate, loving, and kind, because I want to do it the way I want to be done.
What helps you, that's good, but what helps you to stay there is knowing who you are. Knowing that the lie, you don't believe in the lie anymore, okay? That's what keeps you present and centered, because you know who you are now. I am that, I'm all that.
I am
And
all
just
that.
go to that, boom. You'll receive whatever you need to deal with the situation in front of you.
Lisa, for me, it's making that choice too. You know,
Yes.
sometimes when something happens, my ego gets right there, and I want to do this or that. But it's like when I stop and say, let the God within, you know, say what I need to say.
Exactly.
You know, it's getting in the habit of doing
Yes.
that. When you do it for so long, you might like want to say something, you know. And an example of this is I've never been a thief, just never been a thief. But I was at Walmart one time, and it was raining, pouring down rain. I didn't want to go grocery shopping that day, but I did. But I went through the self-checkout, and I had toilet paper and paper towels, all this stuff underneath. And I get all checked out, and I get to my car, realize I didn't pay for it.
Oh!
So I thought in my mind, because it's pouring down raining, well, Walmart, you know, they're a bunch of crap anyway. They took all my sick time away from me. Hell with it.
Boy, you went there.
And I opened up the back door of my car, and I threw all the crap in there. And then I went to take my cart back, and I thought, I can't do it. So I went back in the car, put it all back in there. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I can't go there as much anymore,
Yeah.
you know? So it is choice.
Yes.
And it's nice too that you're catching it now. Whereas before, when we worked from ego, we're like, oh wait, this is not what I want to do. This is not where I want to come from. Because not to mention the law of karma, good and bad. So you do good, good comes back. You want to try to catch that.
Well, it's a reflection. Every life's a reflection of you.
Yeah.
So whatever's going on inside of you, that's what you're reflecting in your life. That's experience you're going to have. Huh?
I like to say how true.
Yes. I love it. I love you guys talking. Okay. Heart should never be confused with emotion. This was a big one when I read this. Heart should never be. I always thought that was what the heart was about. Emotions. You know? But the heart never changes. It stays the same. It's always love, no matter what, period, period, period. Emotions go up and down. They're constantly in movement. But the heart isn't. The heart is centered, grounded. It's who you are. There's no contrast. Duality, there's a contrast. We look at life, everything's a contrast in life. In order to be rich, I can't be poor. In order to be poor, I can't be rich. I'm either a male or a female, or I'm a female or a male. There's always a contrast. And so your emotions are ruled by that contrast going on. Right? I'm trying. I see faces that are a little like, talk to me. Julie.
When you said contrast, I immediately looked at the Buddha fountain.
Oh, look at that.
Believe.
Yeah.
in order for there to be art, there has to be a difference between what the eyebrow is and the nose, or the cap or hair, whatever that thing is.
Mhm.
And the mouth. There has to be a difference. We call that a contrast. In order for there to be beauty,
Mhm.
there has to be a differentiation.
Mhm.
So when you're speaking about that, that's exactly where my eyes went and where my mind was going, to try to wrap around this understanding of contrast being just good or bad, up or down, in or out, dead or alive, or, you know. I don't know. That's
Contrast is part of the finite world. Okay? It's part of this human experience. There is no contrast in the real capital R world. It just is. It's just love. It's all it is. So, yes, in our duality in the matrix that we presently live in, yes. But we are here to bring that wisdom and those new ideas of this truth to everybody. To know that, yes, in this world we have duality, but it is not a truth. It is an illusion. We are sleeping. There's actually another world, another earth that I believe that is at home. Everything is at home. We're just sleeping. We're in an illusionary world. Because think of this, if there's only one power and one presence, okay, but we're living in this world of separation, well, how can that be? It can't be. It cannot be. It is an illusion. Are we here living it? Hell yeah, we're here living it. Right? So it feels real to us, but it's not real. When we go to the heart, you will know that because you will feel the real world. You will feel what it feels to have complete and utter unconditional love. We're all not there yet. We're all at different, levels, different. And there's really no levels either. Every time something comes out of my mouth, I'm like, well, that isn't that. Yeah. Brianne?
Well, for me, part of duality, though, when you talk about the contrast and, this isn't real, I think for me, it's just my perspective. I'm perceiving it as two separate things. It's my perspective, it's my perceptions of part of that programming. When I sink down into here, I don't see light versus dark. I see all of it working together. I see all of the art, all of the beauty,
Yes.
and it all really is love. And so it is, to me, it is real. It's just another perspective or dimension of seeing it. It's just
Yes.
another way of
That's very true.
looking
Yes.
at it.
That's very, very, very true. Yeah. Wade?
Yeah, I'd like to add that the Buddha said that heart is nothing but compassion. And all emotions, no matter how seductive, are painful in the end. And he said that we are all like the ocean. We're all in the ocean, but we come up as waves. And right now we're all looking at each other as waves, but truly we're expressions of the ocean.
Yes.
I think that's what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. Different words. It's all the same thing. Thank you, Wade. Okay. So what else? Imagination. Here at Unity, we have 12 abilities, faculties, powers. One is the power of imagination. Imagination takes us into that flow of the dreaming state, of the state that connects us to an expansive universe. We create, we're the painter. We have a canvas here, a blank canvas. You can create anything you want by the power of imagination, right? So I'm going to read what she talks about here. Well, actually, I want to take you into kind of a meditation. So let's talk about the mind's eye. What's the mind's eye? Okay, say you're having like a vision, but it's like up here in your mind. It's not connected to the heart. It's just you're thinking, and it's up here in your head, and you're seeing things, or dreaming things. That's called your mind's eye. That there's nothing wrong with that. It actually helps you to become your creator by holding that power of imagination within your mind's eye. But do you want it to just stay there? Or do you want to fuel it? So how do we fuel it?
Manifest.
I'm trying to get you off to your heart here.
To your heart. Fill it with your heart.
Yes. Yeah. You don't want to keep it in the mind's eye. Like when I have my visions and stuff, sure, they start here. I start having a vision. But when it goes to my heart, when I take it to the heart, it becomes motion, a feeling, an activity that I'm a part of it because I'm one with it. So it takes on an energy of movement within me because I'm connected to the heart. It's no longer just something that I'm thinking about in my mind. Now I am creating it. I'm manifesting it. Make sense? Okay. So we're going to go in to help you to get to those places. Okay. So close your eyes. Do you want me to wait for you? Huh? Oh. Anyone need a blanket, stuffed animal? This isn't our actual meditation, but I'm just going to help you to get to where you need to get to. Close your eyes. Follow your breath. And I mean really do this if you want to have the experience. You don't have to. You can choose not to. Follow your breath and note its origin of movement has the source of your breath emanating from your heart. On a physical level, the movement of your breath will flow up and down your torso. But the divine source of light resides in your heart. As your breath flows up and down, in and out, find your center of rest in the unwavering peace that is your heart. Let yourself magnetically connect and rest there. Allow yourself to feel attracted to this place. Okay. Come back. Just wanted you to know this is how you go to your heart. Okay? And the breath takes you there. Your life force is your breath. And it will take you there. Okay? So what do we do now? What do we pay attention to? I believe in intuition and inspiration. At times I feel certain I'm right while not knowing the reason. You think you're always going to know when you have an intuitive thought or come through you? Do you need to know why you have it? What's it for? Well, sure, your ego wants to know, but it has no answers, so you can go there if you want to. It's up to you. It's your choice. The intuition is a tap from your creator saying, hey, got something for you. You want it? It's yours for the taking. And then as you accept the intuitive energy that the creator is giving you, that is when you start having an inspiration. You become inspired. Creator's inspiring you, giving you truths. guiding you in your purpose and your mission. So first, we have to become the observer. We have to be listening, paying attention. That's spirituality. That's being a spirit that you are. So when you get an intuitive feeling, it's here. It's not up here. We have to start coming to a practice of going to our center and not our minds. And you don't have to know why. That's your ego. If you get an intuitive thought and get some inspiration, and you start questioning why, that's your ego. You've opened the door to your ego. That's where faith comes in. Knowingness, faith. To just know this was coming from my heart space, my God self, my space of creativity, and I'm going to listen to it. And I know that when I do, I will be inspired to know what to do next. And I will tell the ego, I'm in service here to God, to my higher self, whatever you want to use. And you just need to be quiet right now.
Tell it how it is.
You're in command, guys. When we come to understand that, the power that you have, you're in control. And when you know who you are, what else out here can disturb that? Exactly. So, atonement does not heal the sick, for that is not a cure. It takes away the guilt that made the sickness possible. So, we came in believing that we could get sick. We came in believing that we could experience lack. We didn't come in that way, but that's what happened. Created this collective, created this big matrix, and then so that's what we, have attached ourselves to, and that's where we're living from. But we want to detach ourselves. And here we are with the guilt again. It takes away the guilt that makes the sickness possible. We carry that guilt. That's what makes us sick. Because we are not standing in the power that we are. So we have guilt. And we have forgiveness work for ourselves to do. Just as I said in the beginning. You cannot be sick unless you believe you can be sick. You cannot age unless you believe you can age. It's in our belief that we are experiencing it physically. But your Creator and God did not create sickness, did not create lack, did not create any of those things, and nor did we create it. That's something I learned, that kind of another shift, thinking, because I was hearing, well, I'm creating this. I'm just pulling it out of the matrix and believing in it. Because it has nothing to do with who I really am. So, does everyone know what atonement means?
No.
I love an eager student.
At 1 minute.
At 1 minute, yes. Knowing without a doubt that we are one. Always. Can never be anything else. Okay, so I'm going to... Huh?
I didn't make that up.
We knew you wanted to say it. Why didn't you say it?
I said no. I said no. Please give me that.
Okay, so we're going to give you another opportunity to do a little work here. We're going to give you an opportunity to reconnect with the imagination to the heart instead of the head. There is a distinct difference between the two experiences. The head is the world of dreams, the heart is the world of reality. Real reality. Okay, so let's stay at rest within our hearts. Now open your consciousness to desire for life that you have within you. Give you a second to think of what desire do you have for life that is within your heart. it will instantly appear. It might be something that you have wanted for a very long time, but you gave up on it because the mind had presented you with all kinds of conditions that could not fulfill, that you could not fulfill. Now you are going to see what imagination looks like when centered in the heart, where there are no conditions on creation because all is love. The beauty of this is that there will be no fear or apprehension because you are no longer perceiving through the filters of the dream. You are no longer perceiving through conflict. As you enter this space, you will notice fragments of old perceptions related to this desire, asking you to incorporate the same limitations as before. These fragments will be instantly shattered by the heart's energy because they are unsustainable in the real world. You will watch what happens in a world where such conflicting notions cannot exist. With every fragment of doubt and limitation that shatters, the experience of your desire will become more and more real. Because this desire is now connected to your heart instead of your mind. It will become so real that it will begin to feel like it is actually occurring. At this point, it is important to notice where this reality is being produced. You will note that it is not happening in your head. It is literally manifesting from your heart with a power that you have never before experienced in the dream. This will affect you profoundly as you recognize that you have literally awakened to a world of substance and possibility that could never be possible in a finite dream of conflict and limitation. No one has to tell you that this is real. You will recognize it to be so. You will recognize it to be so. Talk to me.
I'm still trying to.
Wrap your head.
Yeah.
Don't wrap. No, no. Okay, that's a beautiful example. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. What happened? Where'd you go? You went out of your heart. You wanted answers. You wanted to understand. There's no understanding. It just is. You are it. And when you accept that realization, you will understand because you will not ask those questions anymore.
I am.
But that's perfect. Thank you. We needed an example, and that was perfect. Atta girl. Anybody else? I see a lot of tears.
Let's let a man say something. Once you say something,
Atta girl.
Atta girl.
tell us how you really feel.
I just wanted to see, because there's a lot of tears, and if you want to share, fine. If not, we'll go on. I just want to give you the opportunity. Okay, then we'll go on. Okay. You can spend a lifetime trying to be one with the Great Spirit, or simply focus on the love and realize you already are.
That's beautiful.
So this seeking, chasing, wandering, all that stuff, you're out here. You're out here. You are the Spirit. There's no great spirit you got to go to. You are it. Period. Any questions? Who you are? Does everybody here know who they are?
I do.
And where do we go for that?
Art.
Right here. Right here. Yes, Julie.
It's an Ayurvedic thing and also an acupressure point. When one is experiencing maybe some upset or whatnot, to rub the thymus, which
Yes.
is right here between the breasts for ladies and right here in the chest for men.
Mm-hmm.
And so that stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, and that is part of your heart's, your physical, emotional,
know what a thymus was, so I did.
I tap mine every day. Right, I tap mine.
Thymus thump.
I tap it like
And
this.
it stimulates your immune system.
I didn't know it was like a technical term for it. Yeah, I did a guided meditation the other day and it said something about the thymus. And I was like, oh, okay, I
And-
got you. I resonate.
And when you're in your heart, you will know, like, I'm doing things now that I don't have any knowledge of. Because I'm in my heart now. So, I'll do something, I'll think, well, where'd that come from? Well, it's the inspiration of God coming through me. And that's who I am. So see, when you come to that, life will change. You will see your perception will completely be different. You will no longer look outside of yourself for anything. It's beautiful, beautiful transformation. And you're all going through it. All of you are. Okay? Enjoy it. Okay, we're going to go into meditation. So just for the burning bow, pay attention to your heart. Okay? Get out of your head, go to your heart, see what's there, see what you're questioning, what's taking you away from the real reality, capital R, and get that out of you today. Release that. And so what are you going to affirm then? You're going to have to affirm who you think you really are, right? To fill that void. Okay? So set that intention before you go into your meditation. Let's get grounded. Let's get our feet on the ground. Use whatever grounding that you like to use. Visualization of roots. I like crystal. I like the light. Just wrap that around the core of Mother Earth. Ground yourself into her beautiful, beautiful essence. Beautiful presence. And come back up to your heart. Come to your heart. Center yourself right in the center. Invite source light through the crown chakra and come back and join your heart again. Okay? Okay. Enjoy your meditation.